So, I just watched Society of the Snow, the brand new film on Netflix directed by J.A. Bayona. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it's this brand new film that depicts this true life story about this team of rugby players back in the 1970s who crashed in this mountainous region and had to survive in this snowy hellscape that they had fallen into. And this is a movie that is truly, truly wonderful, and it's a movie that I really, really enjoyed, although I do have some minor gripes with it. Now, the first thing I do want to say, before I get into this review, is please go watch my movie. I did make a movie. It's called Creature. I think it's okay. I think it's pretty good, and I'd really like it if you guys can go and give me some feedback on it. Also, follow me on all the other social media stuff where I post essentially the same shit that I post here. But why not? Go give me a follow there. Subscribe here. The Society of the Snow is one of the few films from last year that I still hadn't gotten to see. There's a couple more, and you'll be seeing reviews of them as soon as I see them. All of the Strangers, American Fiction. But this is one that I've been looking forward to. It is a foreign film that I hear getting a lot of hype. It's getting a lot of praise from a lot of the different festival scenes during the early part of the year, or the early part of the latter half of the year is a better way to put it. And finally, I got to see it today on Netflix, and it is a beautiful movie. It is a terrific, terrific film that tells this story in probably the best way you could possibly tell it, and it's a movie that tells a story that you've seen in cinema, a survival story, a movie about groups of people trying to survive real-life events that had happened, right? And just depicting like a sort of biopic of it. And this movie does it kind of how you're expecting, but at the same time is still able to accomplish a beauty and a sense of brotherhood and love that I miss in a lot of films like this. First off, I want to mention the cinematography in this film. It's fucking ridiculous. The cinematography here is absolutely beautiful. The vast part of the movie takes place in this one area, where this plane crashed, and you have the practical set of the plane crash, and it's kind of set between these two big snowy mountains that the characters are continuing to explore and walk around in, and there's a lot of big wide shots, a lot of tracking drone shots that sort of reminded me of the opening of The Thing. This movie's not like The Thing at all, but you get what I'm, you understand what I'm saying. But the film just always looks beautiful, and that's kind of what the wonder and the amazement of this film is, the fact that these characters in real life and in this film had kind of crashed, although in this hellscape, this area that's almost impossible to escape or survive in. It's also kind of beautiful and gorgeous and amazing, and the characters are always saying, wow, this area is beautiful, despite the fact that, since we're here, we're probably gonna die. And they echo within the cinematography the beauty of their situation, as well as the terror and the horrifying nature and the horrifying reality of how they're living. Another way they accomplish this is through putting us next to the characters. Throughout the entire runtime, you truly feel like you are there with these characters. You are experiencing this with these characters, and they do this by putting the camera right there next to them. They get you involved in every single character's life and what's going on with them during this whole event. You feel this brotherhood and this camaraderie between every single character. You feel this understanding that they all have for each other. And in a lot of stories like this, a lot of movies, TV shows, books, there always seems to be a part where, like a falling apart of the group, a time when there's almost a mutiny, a fight, something that happens where it splits everybody apart and it causes chaos. At least that's, if I was writing something fictional, that would probably be a part in the story. But here, mainly because it's a true story, but it really benefits the story, the fact that these people stay together, they stay true to themselves, and it makes it really beautiful. It makes for a lot of really emotional moments. And the characters here are all great, specifically the main one, I think his name is Numa. He's so good, and the actor that plays him does an amazing job, and some stuff with that character almost earned a Joe Marchione tier, I'm not gonna lie. Almost got me. But you grow to really care for these characters, and you really want them to survive, especially because the way they tackle every situation is so kind of understandable and beautiful in a way. I keep using that word, but it's there's moral questions that this movie raises about where do you draw the line in a situation like this? How do you survive and avoid death without losing yourself and doing things that are morally questionable? And the way they tackle these questions, these characters as a group, as a whole, is really well done and kind of amazing. It really makes you question what you yourself would do in this reality, and I had to question myself, how would I have handled this? What would I have done? And I truly don't know if I would have done what the characters did, and that makes for a very interesting watch, when it challenges you to think about the actual scenario, and that's very hard to accomplish in a movie that's telling a true story. I do have a couple gripes about this movie, so I'm gonna get those out of the way. First off, and really this is my gripe with a lot of movies these days, it's a little bit too long. A little bit. I don't know if this needed to be 2.5 hours long. It really didn't, and you feel the runtime. I think you could have cut 20 minutes off this thing. Also, Netflix. The fact that this is only on Netflix, and I didn't get to see this thing in theaters. If I had seen this movie in theaters, my opinion would be a lot higher of it, because it's a huge movie that deserved to be seen on a big screen. Instead, I'm there in my fucking living room, laying on a couch, watching it on a tiny-ass TV. Well, not a tiny, but, you know, a regular-sized TV. That sucks. And Netflix, you're killing the movie industry. Stop it. The score for this movie, by the way, beautiful. One of the best scores I've heard this year. Well, I say that almost every single time a movie comes out with a great score, but it is a top-notch score. It's an elite score. It's really quiet and somber, and it perfectly captures the state that these characters are in, the world that they're in, both the beauty and the hell of it. And it's really beautiful, and it comes to a really great crescendo when you get towards the end of the movie, when it really ramps up into what the score actually wants to be. But overall, this movie is huge, it's grand, it's epic, it tells the story with a lot of respect, a lot of emotions. It got me interested in the real-life story of what happened to these people in this actual situation. It made me think on a moral level about the conflicts and the situations and the decisions that they had to make. It wowed me with its beautiful visuals and its amazing score, and overall, besides the fact that it ran a little too long and Netflix is a scummy-ass company, I really love this movie. So I will give Society of the Snow a 4.5 out of 5. The one other thing I'll say, and I will do this for every other movie that I was supposed to see last year, but I'm a little bit late on, I'm going to tell you where it would have ranked if this came out before I made my top 30 list. So this would have ranked probably around the 12 spot. I think I would have put it right behind Infinity Pool. So it would have been the 12th best film of 2023 for me. But yeah, that's the video, guys. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to click on the video on your screen right now. And I will see you tomorrow.